When you hear the word pyramid, what's the first thing you think of? Egypt, right? Egypt is known as the land of the pyramids. However, this is an undeserving title. For the true pyramid builders, you have to go to the other side of the world, to Mexico, which has over 10,000 pyramids. Compared to Egypt's 97 pyramids, Egypt's not even on the map when it comes to building pyramids. Mexico is the land of the true pyramid builders. So now let us travel to the other side of the world, to Teotihuacan, city of the gods. Upon arrival to Teotihuacan, the first thing you notice is the impressive Pyramid of the Sun. Then you notice the Pyramid of the Moon. And if you're paying attention, you might notice the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, the little guy off to the side no one gives a shit about. But that's where we're going today, because that is where we'll find the clues to the secrets hidden in Teotihuacan. Now, from a distance, these pyramids look incredibly impressive, but upon closer inspection, what the hell is that? Oh, it's a hot air balloon. Never mind, false alarm, you guys. Upon closer inspection, that's when you'll see oh, it's just a bird. Damn it. Maybe next time. Upon closer inspection, that's when you discover that these pyramids aren't like the pyramids of Egypt. They're not made of giant, massive blocks of stone. They're made of tiny, manageable stones that any man or woman could lift and cement into place. But what's interesting is if you look at the Temple of Quetzalcoatl and you notice that the rubble is covering some other structure. But that's not really what's important right now, because that's not what we're looking at. Today, what we're looking at is what's actually behind the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. This area right here. What is this back here? It's got to be something, right? Well, it is. And what it is the clues that we've been looking for. The first thing you notice is that immediately, the first thing that catches the eye is that these blocks back here appear to be on some kind of concrete foundation, which is interesting. But what's also interesting is the size of these blocks compared to the stones that are covering the pyramid. These are 10 times the size. More closely related to the size of the stones of Egypt or other places. These are megalithic size blocks of stone. What are they doing there? Because we can see that the pyramid is not made up of these. But if you look closely in certain areas, you can see these blocks are even up on top of the pyramid, working their way up. And as you keep searching around, that's when you start to realize that these megalithic blocks are from construction that's underneath all the little rocks in adobe and concrete. There's another structure underneath them. And that structure is made up of these giant megalithic blocks. But when you look down to the platform behind the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, you realize that these blocks are still stacked up on top of these concrete adobe handheld blocks, the little stones. Why is that? They're just kind of all haphazard like that. It appears that they have been just knocked off and destroyed and just thrown down to the bottom. Like they were up on the pyramid at one time, they were destroyed and knocked off to the ground, and now they just lay there. But this whole pit back here, where all these giant stones are, was actually filled in with the small handheld sized stones and concrete, and it had all been cleared away. And some of the blocks have been left up in the air like that, sitting on the piles of the rubble. So the giant megalithic stones were there first, and they built this other stuff around it. Why would they do that? Look at this shoddy construction compared to the megalithic stones. I mean, this is made with mortar. Everyone knows mortar decays way faster than just a solid piece of stone. So why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. And another thing that doesn't make sense is the fact that the last people who ruled Teotihuacan didn't build these giant megalithic ruins. Instead, covered these megalithic ruins with tiny handheld sized stones and cement, mortar, adobe brick and stuff. They covered up something that was already there. So who built this then? Why would the Mayans cover up their own work? We didn't do it. Modern Mexicans didn't do it. So who did it? Was there a civilization before the Mayans who could have possibly built this? Now, there is some interesting facts about the pyramids of Teotihuacan that aren't well known, and we're going to go through a couple of these. One, on the Pyramid of the Sun was found a solid jade mask belonging to the Olmec civilization, which is very interesting. So it would seem that the Olmecs had something to do with the building of the pyramids. At least their artifacts were found inside the Pyramid of the Sun, the largest of the pyramids. And we also notice that the pyramids go deeper than they should. If you were to break through the concrete platform, like in this photo, you would see that the stairs keep going down. And if you break through the platform down through the bottom one, it might go down even further. We don't know. But it shows you how this city was built on top of another city that already existed, and they're trying to cover it up and make it their own. Look at this block here. Now, these symbols don't make any sense on their own, but you can see that this giant piece of stone here could have been connected, or should have been connected, to other blocks, or to a larger chunk of stone that would have the full depiction of whatever was on there. So that stone would have been massive. Also found in the pyramids of Teotihuacan were giant sheets of mica. One of the sheets measured 90 square feet, 12 inches thick of mica. Now, besides the incredible properties that mica has, what's interesting is when they sampled the mica, they discovered where it comes from. It comes from Brazil, over 2,000 miles away. That's the closest place that has that kind of mica that's found in the pyramids. And even if they sailed it around the coast, which in itself would be an incredible feat, they would have still had to get it through the jungle of Brazil and the jungle of Central America all the way to Teotihuacan unbroken, which is an incredible feat considering that mica is easily damaged. But what's even more curious is what was the reason for it. The mica is not seen. It's within the pyramid, hidden inside the rocks of it. So there's no aesthetic value to the mica because it can't be seen. So it must have had some kind of functioning purpose. So what is mica? What do we use mica for? Well, the principal use for mica today is in electronic and electrical industries. It specifically, mica is unusual in that it's a good electrical insulator at the same time as being a good thermal conductor. So the leading use of mica is as an electrical insulator in electrical equipment. Mica is used for many different things, as well as being a good electrical insulator and thermal conductor. It's used for like the glass in high pressure steam boilers because of its flexibility, transparency, and resistance to heat and chemical attack. Then high quality mica, which is found like in India, like the ruby mica, is used as a dielectric in capacitors. And freshly cleaved mica surfaces have been used as clean imaging substrates in atomic force microscopes. So it allows them to image stuff like bismuth films, plasma proteins, and even DNA molecules. They use mica for making the diaphragms in old phonographs, in the Geiger tubes for Geiger counters and stuff for detecting radiation. Because one of the cool things about mica is that it blocks radiation and heat like no other. In fact, the bottom of the spaceship, well, before we retired it, the old space, like the Challenger and Discovery, our space shuttles, the whole black underside is actually all mica, because that's how resistant it is to heat and plasma and radiation and everything. So the whole bottom of the space shuttle is actually covered with mica. But with all these things that we use mica for, it's because they have a functional purpose. None of it is aesthetic. None of it is used because we like mica as a decoration or the way it looks. I mean, we have reasons to use mica, but what were their reasons for? It doesn't make any sense. What the hell is that mica doing there? And if that wasn't enough, they also found a river of liquid mercury underneath the Pyramid of the Sun, basically going down the entire Avenue of the Dead. Also under the pyramids were found these mysterious golden spheres, which I don't believe are too mysterious. Like I've said before, I believe these are in fact chunks of sulfur. There are tons of volcanoes around Mexico, and so gathering sulfur would have been pretty easy for them. But still the question remains, what was so important about having liquid mercury, chunks of sulfur, giant sheets of mica, and pyramids when it came to constructing their city? Was it the combination of these things that would turn villages into civilization and men into gods? Mexico is the land of the true pyramid builders. So now let us travel to the other side of the world, to Teotihuacan, city of the gods. You have to go to the other side of the world, to Mexico, which has over 10,000 pyramids. Compared to Egypt's 97 pyramids, Egypt's not even on the map when it comes to building pyramids. Upon arrival to Teotihuacan, the first thing you notice is the impressive Pyramid of the Sun. Then you notice the Pyramid of the Moon. And if you're paying attention, you might notice the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, the little guy off to the side no one gives a shit about. But that's where we're going today, because that is where we'll find the clue. When you hear the word pyramid, what's the first thing you think of? Egypt, right? Egypt is known as the land of the pyramids. However, this is an undeserving title. For the true pyramid builder